everybody. Tonight we have a young lady from our Women's Connect group that'll be here with us, Susan Parsons. A lot of you probably know her already. If you haven't, she's a good person to get to know, without a doubt.
Thank you.
She's going to be talking about using Uni-Stretch for bodies and the way she does that. And then she says she figured out a unique way to use wire along with Hackle. So I can't wait to hear about that. There we go. There's Susan. Anyway, talk about her a little bit in front of her face, and then we'll let her take the program over. Anyway, Susan is a retired pathologist who was first introduced to fly fishing in 2008 while visiting the White River in Arkansas, and regrets that she did not catch the fly fishing bug soon enough in life. Learning to tie flies followed when a friend put a bobbin in her hand and sat her down as a vise to tie the easy stuff. It didn't take long before she was learning more intricate patterns and tying all the flies that she and her husband Steve could fish and lose. She has earned the Fly Fishers International's Bronze and Silver Tying Skills Award and has won several categories at the Sawbug Roundup Fly Tying Contest. She regularly writes articles for the North Arkansas Fly Fishers and Women Connects newsletters. Susan truly enjoys spending time at her vise, developing her skills, and discovering techniques to tie practical fishing flies, which the more wine she drinks, the better they get, is what I heard.
So it seems, at least the more creative I get.
So
all's
with
about
that,
fun.
I'm going to back out of here. And Susan, the floor is yours and the vice is yours.
Okay, so I'm about to tie a crackleback on this program, which I think is perhaps a fly that's kind of beneath this program. But the reason I wanted to tie it was because I wanted to demonstrate this unique way that I came up with of putting wire on flies that are hackled so that your wire doesn't squash the hackle like it normally does when you counter wrap it. So I actually wrap it the same direction. So with that, I'm going to switch to, hopefully successfully switch to my other camera here. And we'll go ahead and start that fly. And there we go. It's here. Yay. So this is what the fly looks like when it's done. And let me zoom in on this and maybe you can see. Yeah, hopefully you can see that there is actually a wire there. And in most places it actually, well, this one, okay, this one maybe didn't work quite as well. But the wire, if I do it right, the wire will be right on top of that rachis and it protects the feather fairly well. It doesn't protect it as well as if you counter wrap it, but as you can see, my hackle all the way around is just still really, really nice. And everything's pointing in the right direction. Maybe if I weren't a perfectionist, it wouldn't bother me when the hackle gets all smashed by the wire. But because I am, I don't like it to get squashed. So I'm going to go ahead and put a hook in here and get everything on the table here to do this. And the other thing that I do with this fly and with other flies as well is I tie it differently than was originally tied by the gentleman who created the fly. And the part of the reason that I tie it the way I do is because we fish this fly a lot. And because we fish it a lot, we lose it a lot. And they get, they get beat up a lot and replaced a lot. And now I need to, I have, I need to thread one of my bobbins here that.
Susan, do you want the recipe up?
Sure, you can put the recipe up. That'd be great.
Okay. Whoops, that didn't work. Can you all see that all right?
Yeah. Yeah, we can see it.
Okay.
So this is a really, really simple fly. And Ed Story, who started Feathercraft in St. Louis created this fly to be something that could be fished 5 different ways, and probably most people online on the program know about that and about the history of the fly. And he wanted it to be a really versatile fly that's easy to tie. And he originally tied it using, I believe it was uh, a duck or a goose biot, and it was just a goose biot with the hackle on it. And he also had a uh, hurl on the back of it to give it the crackle, and hence the name Crackleback. And I may have forgotten to put that in the recipe, but if I did, we're about to put one on, as Ed's story did, and that hence the name Crackleback. But because, like I say, because we fish so many of them, I found a way to tie it that's really quick and easy. So instead of normally, well, Ed tied it with a goose biot, but then people nowadays tie it by dubbing it. But because my fingers are getting arthritic and it is more time consuming, I've found a way that's quicker and easier on my fingers, and that is to use Uni-Stretch. And this is a material that's made by Uni, and it is slightly stretchy yarn. It's pretty darn durable. And as you can see, I've got it on a bodkin. So I actually start the fly with it. When I first started tying it, I would tie this in with thread, and I thought, well, that's stupid. Why do I do that? So I'm just going to go ahead and start this fly using the Uni-Stretch just as I would the thread. So then I'll come back forward enough to get my hurl in, and I've got a couple strands of hurl. Now I'll put 2 or 3 strands of hurl depending on how big the fly is. This is a size 12. It's a size that we most often use at our house. So I'm just going to tie this in, and I'm going to tie it in on the top about to the barb, where the barb would be. I've smashed this down so it's no longer there. And then I'm going to tie in some wire, and I'm going to go ahead and give that a little crimp so that it'll hopefully be easier to grab it. And I'm going to come back here with this same thing. I'm just using this Uni-Stretch like I would the thread. Now I'm going to tie in a rooster hackle. This is a saddle hackle, which is pretty much what I always use for dry flies. And a lot of people just strip off the barbules like that, but I don't. I like to trim them because I find when I tie, I put quite a bit of tension on materials, and I find that if I clip it like this so that it's cleaned up, but you can see there's still little ends there, and they will catch, and the feather will not pull out as easy. Now I'm going to put this on so that the shiny side, the convex side, is towards me, and hopefully the feather will behave. And I'm going to tie it in so that there's a little bit of exposed rachis behind the end of my body, so that when I go to wrap it, hopefully it will behave itself. And as I'm tying this in, I start to kind of go around. You can see that what I did, I made sure that the feather is going to behave itself. That is, it's going to stay with the barbules pointing towards the back of the fly, not going forwards. Now, the thing about the Uni-Stretch that I like is that I can untwist it or twist it and control how my body is shaped. So if I tighten this up, it'll make a tighter rope, and it'll, as it goes laid down, it'll be thicker. But if I untwist it, it'll flatten out, and I can actually better control the taper of the body of my fly that way. So now you can see it's flattened out a little bit, and then flatten it out some more. So I can control this and change the taper of my body. So it's a really easy way to taper a body. So you can see that I'm going back and forth more in the middle, and that's creating a tapered body. Whereas if you tried to do that with dubbing, you would have to add more dubbing and or go back and forth with your dubbed thread to get it to be the thickness you want it to be in the specific part of the fly. But this is a really quick and easy way to do this. Okay, so now I need some real thread, right? So what I'm done is I've advanced this Uni-Stretch to the eye, and I'm going to go ahead and tie in some thread. And I'm going to take this thread over the butt end of the thread that I just tied in so that it helps secure it. And the other thing that I do is I use a lot of super glue when I tie. And so I'm going to come in here with a little bit of super glue, and I always use a fine hypodermic needle, and I'm just putting that on that thread that I just tied in just to make sure it doesn't come loose. So now I can go ahead and tie this Uni-Stretch off. And the other thing that I do is that I use for my Uni-Stretch, I use a bigger bobbin than I do for my thread. I don't know if you can't see that. I use a small bobbin. It's a short one for my thread. It's just easier. Well, for my hands, it's easier. But that way, when I bring the thread around the Uni-Stretch, it's easier to do because of the smaller bobbin. It's not critical, but I like it. That's what I generally do. So now I'm just going to go ahead and, oh wait, no, I'm not quite ready for that. Now I'm going to go ahead and bring my crackle forward. And sometimes these hurls will kind of separate. So I'll just kind of twist them together a couple times. And when I put them on, I bring it to the near side a little bit so that as it gets wrapped on, it doesn't just flip to the other side. So I'm going to go ahead and secure that. Now I'm going to trim that. And I'll put a half hitch on here, because this is where the magic starts, so to speak. So I'm going to, you can see that well enough, yeah. Now I'm going to take my wire and I'm going to hold my feather towards me, and I'm going to go around that wire and back underneath it. Let me get my fingers out of the way here. Take the wire, go around the feather and underneath of it, and then I'm going to grab the two of them together. And it's important when you do this that you keep good tension on everything. You can see where the wire is underneath there. So now I'm just going to, first of all, make sure my feather's behaving, and I'm going to start wrapping forward. And if I do this correctly, that wire will stay right on top of the, now it's coming loose, of the feather. And sometimes you do have to adjust it as you go to keep it on top. And if you really do it right, there we go. Now you can see that as I apply this, the barbules are escaping out from underneath the wire. So that is telling me that I did it right. And my rachis is protected by the wire. So in other words, the wire is on the top of it. So that really does seem to help as far as the the hackle getting bitten off by fish. Now I'm just going to helicopter my wire off. Is it as durable as a counter wrapped hackle? No, it's not. But it's a lot more durable than no wire, which is how this fly was originally designed to be tied. I'm going to prop that up a little bit. But it certainly, if you want this to be a dry fly and you have really nice hackle that you're using, and then you squash it all down, or you have to fuss with the fly a lot to get that hackle to come out from under the wire so that it actually stands up nicely and acts like a dry fly. This is, in my opinion, this is the way to go, because you just end up with a really nice, well-hackled dry fly. and it lasts longer than it would otherwise if you hadn't done it this way. And you can see as I spin this that wire is on top of the shaft of the feather, and there might be a couple places where it came off a little bit, but it's trapped that hackle really nicely, and it's just more durable. Instead of the fish teeth breaking the feather, that wire protects the feather. So that's how I do my cracklebacks. I can do them in about 6 minutes when I sit down to do a bunch of them. So it's a really quick and easy way to do it. And despite the fact that you don't spend much time tying the fly, it lasts a lot longer than it would otherwise last.
I like that idea. I tied a lot of cracklebacks, and I like that idea of using the wire.
Did you tie them with wire?
I've counter wrapped,
Yeah.
but I like this better.
Yeah, this is it's not going to be as durable. I'm not going to tell you it is as durable as counter wrap, but it's not fussy to tie, right? It's really quick to tie because you're essentially wrapping your wire and your hackle in one step.
Susan, we have a question on the floor. What is the benefit of Uni-Stretch over the multi-thread floss? Seems the same to me.
I'm not familiar with multi-thread floss, so I don't know the answer to that question.
Maybe I can. The fact is, the Uni-Stretch isn't shiny,
Oh,
but whereas the floss would be shining.
now floss, wrong. Yeah, my experience with floss is that when you handle it, it shreds it. It gets stuck on your hands. It gets little fibers sticking out everywhere. But this stuff, I mean, you can abuse it, and it's just really durable. I don't really know what it's made of, but I'm taking my thumbnail and running it through my thumbnail, and
Yeah,
it just doesn't bother it. And the other thing about it is I think it's durable in the water. And the other reason that I like to use this is that I think dubbing probably absorbs more water than this does. Because I mean, I assume so, right? I have no scientific proof of that. But since when I apply it, it's fairly tightly applied. I don't think it can as easily absorb as much water. So if you care of it, that your fly floats, I think this is a better material to use than dubbing. And it's just so quick and easy. And I mean, I got the arthritic fingers here, It's just a lot easier on my fingers to use this than Uni-Stretch. I'm sure you could do it with a floss, but I just find this stuff is really easy to work with, and that's why I like it.
water is your friend with floss. With that, you don't need the water.
Yeah, right. It's just really,
But yeah, I use the Uni-Stretch quite a bit, and I like
I
that
like
stuff.
it. It's just really, really easy to use.
Susan, what colors do you tie that in? There's another question on the
Well,
floor.
okay, this is what we call the standard issue. And although I usually use a olive thread and the head is olive, but I don't think the head makes any difference. This is this pumpkin orange and a brown hackle and a copper or gold wire. That's what when Steve and I are on the stream and one of us is catching fish and the other isn't, what do you use them? Standard issue, so, but the other color that we commonly use is a chartreuse with grizzly hackle, black and white grizzly hackle. I think that's easier to see. I've tied them for sulfur season. I've tied them in like a size 16 with a ginger or a barred ginger hackle. You can tie it. It's been tied by people in so many colors, but for me, those two colors are kind of what we go to. I like the grizzly hackle when it's late in the day and I can't see this one as well. And this fly can be fished as a dry fly, can be fished in the surface. You can swing it. You can put it on with some weight in front of it and fish it down deep. I mean, this is an incredibly versatile fly for those of you who aren't familiar with it. It's just a really great fly. And you have that little bit of hurl on the back of it, the crackle, and that, you know how hurl is. It's just a great material for catching light, and I think that is an added benefit.
They use that fly a lot down in Bennett Spring, but instead,
Yes, they do. They do.
yeah, they replaced the hurl with a kind of a powder blue tinsel.
Yeah, a lot of people have done things like that. You know, they'll use other materials for the hurl, but just something that is kind of flashy that catches a fish's eye, I think is good. When I tie them in a size 16 for sulfur season, I don't usually bother with the crackle. I just, you know, with the hurl, I just tie it without.
Yeah, I tie that in red with the grizzly for the
Yeah.
Missouri, and the brown trout just
Oh.
scarp it right up.
Yeah, it's just an incredible fly. In fact, we were in Montana, and a friend of ours has a house on a little creek there, and it was late at night and late in the evening, and I came into the house, and actually a big fish had straightened my hook out on one of these, and I told him we were catching fish down there. And he said, "What are you catching, on?" I said, "A crackleback." He says, "You can't catch fish on a crackleback in Missouri, in Montana." And I said, "You want to bet?" And I showed him my straightened hook. Right? It's just. And we fished them in Argentina. I mean, we have fished these things in every place we have ever fished, and they're just a great fly. It's just
Yeah.
wonderful. So and simple, quick to tie. Super fly.
Yeah, it's super versatile.
Yeah,
Yes,
Paul
absolutely.
Fidelis.
There's a question.
Yeah, Paul Fidelis notes that he uses something called nylon stretch overlocking thread / woolly nylon, 1,500 meters for Aussie $8.
Yeah, there you go. It's probably similar. It sounds like it might be similar to Uni-Stretch, but less expensive.
Joel says it's he must have looked it up, and Uni-Stretch is 100% nylon thread.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, I was thinking it may have had some polyester in it too, the way it springs back and forth. And then Craig liked to know, could this work for a Griffin's gnat to make it more durable? I don't see any reason why not.
Yeah, I don't think so. The only thing is, you know, with a really small fly like that, you're adding weight with the wire, so it might make it more likely to sink.
Yeah, if you do the ultra small wire.
Yeah, this is extra small that I used here, and that's what I typically use. But you could sure try it. Wouldn't hurt, especially if you're tying them in like a size 16.
Well, I can think of several flies that I do that your wire technique would work great on.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's not as durable as counter wrapping, but boy, it sure is quick and easy when you're putting on two materials at once.
Yeah,
there we go.
Yeah, there's a little knack to learning to get it so that the wire lays on top of that rachis, but once you figure that out, it is really handy.
Yeah.
You do it on the next fly too.
Let's see. Bill says might work as an indicator or as a post. And then, would you please review your technique for binding the wire to the hackle at the base?
Oh, okay. I could demonstrate it real quick, or I could just tell you.
You got lots of time.
Okay, because I have the other fly to do, but I did it in about 20 minutes just before. So yeah, let me just do another one real quick. I have another hook right here.
Susan, while you're doing that, what size Uni-Stretch are you using?
You know, as far as I know, it only comes in one size.
Okay.
I could be wrong. Now, where did I put it? Oh, there we go. And I have once again allowed it to get on.
I'm looking at it here and it says 1X, if that makes sense.
Oh, as a matter of fact, that's correct. I've only seen it in this one size and used it in this one size, so perhaps it does come in another size. Now, the one thing about putting Uni-Stretch in a bobkin is you can't push it through like a thread that you can normally push through and thread it. Let me back this out and thread it, suck it through like we all do. So instead, what I do is I use one of these dental floss threaders because I don't like to use the metal bobbin threaders because I think they could scratch the inside of your threader. So I always use these. They're just the dental floss threaders.
And those metal ones will do a number on ceramic.
Yeah. These are plastic. They're you get them in the dental department at the grocery store or the pharmacy. And so I'd use that to bring it through. And then you can get it through, because you cannot suck this through like you can other materials. It just won't work because it's not stiff enough. So let me just start this again, and I'll skip the, well, what the heck, it won't take but a minute.
I like the fact that you're not putting any extra weight on it by putting thread on first and then.
Yeah, and it's just so quick this way, you know. It's just, to
Yeah.
me, when I sit down to tie stuff to fish, I want it to be quick. I don't want to mess around wasting time. And I will tie, you know, a couple dozen or something when I'm going to tie something to fish. So I want to have as few steps as possible to tie the fly efficiently and still have it be durable. And you know, that's not to say I don't try to tie my flies well. I don't like it when flies fall apart. So I try to do a good job, and I use my super glue and all that stuff so that it will
They
be
fish
durable.
better.
Yeah, well, you know, if they fish better. Well, here's the other thing. Nothing irritates me more. Well, there are two things that irritate me. If I forgot to smash the barb down, and now I'm having trouble unhooking a fish, that bothers me. But the other thing that really bugs me is if a fly starts to fall apart when it's only caught 3 or 4 fish. I mean, we've caught 20, 25 fish on one of these things. That's not to say that you won't have the odd fish that'll do a number on it right away. Seems like up in Minnesota, those little brown trout up there are toothy little dudes, and they'll go through a fly quicker than some of the fish elsewhere.
Yeah,
Talking about
northern
the
pike will
driftless.
rip the heck out of it real quick.
Those little guys up in the driftless are mean.
Yeah, they're nice fighters. They're nice fish.
Oh, they're wonderful. I love it up there. I shouldn't talk about it, actually. This hackle might be a little too big, but it'll be all right. So again, I'm just gonna, I'm gonna get this guy on here. And the other thing about using this for these flies, this particular fly, it's not going on right. There we go. Is I'm not being very careful right now about the shape of my body at the very moment, because I can fix whatever deficiencies there are the way as I tied, deficiencies that I created while I tied on my materials with the Uni-Stretch.
Yeah, you can make a really smooth, nice body with
Yeah, you
that
really can.
material.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. There we go. Now it's separating out the way I want it to. And I can go back and cover up the stuff I didn't like the way it worked. There we go. And just really, so you just have a lot of control of what your body looks like with this material. And it's so easy to work with. It's not fussy like a lot of flosses are. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to back that off one. We're getting a little crowded there. Go ahead and start my thread on here. That over. Flip this off. I need a touch of super glue. All right, you guys need to quit dancing here. Bring up this guy.
It's good to see another tire that talks to their flies as they're tying them.
Oh yeah.
I talk to
It's
my
supposed to be fun, isn't it?
Yeah. Talk to my flies. I talk to my computer.
I talked to the dog. Okay, so
I got a doctor you two need to chat with.
let me zoom in on this. If we get a little bit better light on there, I might be able to. There we go. Maybe that'll help.
There
Okay.
you go. Yep.
Zoom in a little bit so you can see. Okay, so here's my feather that it's going to behave. So what I want to do is go over the feather with the wire. Oopsie, not with my hand in the way, over the feather and behind it. So I've basically done like a half hitch around that, not a half hitch, a half wrap
Yeah.
from the top below with the wire around that feather. And then I really have to keep tension on the feather and the wire together as they start. Can you see? Yeah, there you can see that I've got good tension and they're right together there. And then I can go ahead and I am using my rotary here. And if you watch this, see how those fibers are popping out from under the wire as I wrap it?
Yep.
That, when that's happening, now it's just
Uh-oh.
slipped off. Then I just reposition the wire. When that is happening, that is your best application of this wire and hackle together so that the wire stays on top of the hackle. Now that's gotten a little bit messy at the front end here. I probably should back off one. There we go. Well, this is not the best example, but that's how you do it. You got to get that wire to go around the feather at the very big back there before you start wrapping it. And generally when you do that, when you wrap them forward, the wire will, for the most part, stay on top. But you can see it coming off if it comes off midway, and then you just have to readjust it so that it stays on top of there. And that's it. And then, of course, a little super glue on the head to keep it from coming undone. And again, that wire is pretty much right on top. Well, I see one place it came off at the end there. I didn't see, but, and it'll happen here and there. But if
Yeah,
you,
that's one of
the goal is to
nature's.
keep, yeah, the goal is to keep that wire right on top of the hackle. And it really, it works pretty darn well. So,
That works slick. I like that.
okay. All right. So shall we switch to the second fly now?
Okay, really quick here.
Mhm.
Let's see. Robert made a comment about for the griffins. Nat, where'd it go? Says coat the body with with something UV glue. There we go.
Oh,
Wrap in the hackle and cure with light. Okay.
whoa, yeah.
And then Paul says feather keeps jumping on me here. Feather us
In front.
in
He just-
front. In
Yeah,
front
Oh,
of
so
the
yeah, I
there's
see
the
wire.
the
feather
question.
in front
Yeah.
No, the
of the wire.
Yeah.
you try to keep that wire right on top of that hackle, right on top of the racus, the stem of the hackle,
Yeah.
so that they're wrapped as a unit. And as you saw when I wrapped it, the barbules popped out from under the wire. And when I see that happening, I know I've done it right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Joel asked, what was the benefit? What was the benefit over the counter wrapping of doing it like you're doing it?
I can tie the fly in 6 minutes, and the hackles, the barbules are not squashed. I think when you counter wrap, you're losing the benefit of the hackles, particularly if you want it to be a dry fly. If it's a dry fly and you've squashed the hackles, then they're not going to stand out as well to have tension against the water, surface tension against the water, and help keep your fly afloat. As if you do it this way, I think your fly floats better. And I can do it so quickly because I'm wrapping the wire and the hackle together in one step. So it's just quicker for me. And I'm partial to, I'm kind of a feather attic, and I have nice hackle, and I hate to see it get all messed up by counter wrapping, which is kind of silly, but that's just how I feel about it. And I find that the fly works really well that way as a dry fly, and I can still sink it if I need to, but when I want to use it as a dry fly, I think it works better than counterwrapped.
Okay. And Ron asks, and I think you covered it, but as you're wrapping the wire in Hackle, do you try and keep the wire ahead or behind the Hackle?
Right on top of that stem.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a trick to learn to do it, but once you do, it's pretty easy and very efficient.
Okay. Paul asks, what's the connection into your camera?
Oh,
But
like
why don't we
HDMI
throw that one for a
to the
question
end.
at the end?
yeah, okay.
Yeah, so we can get on with the next fly if that's
You
all right
might
with
have
you,
to ask
Paul.
Al Beatty that one. He's the one who told me what to get.
It appears to be a USB rather than an HDMI.
Uh, yes, it is. The camera has the capability of a HDMI, but that was a big clunky heavy cable, so I got this USB, and I don't know if you can see. You can see I have this is a 90-degree angle,
Yeah.
so that I can plug my cable into that rather than have the wire sticking out here and I'm trying to tie around the wire because it's already hard, right, to tie around the camera for me anyway.
Good idea.
So this is it's just much more compact this way with this 90-degree angle here. That helps.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay.
All right. You ready for the next one?
Yeah, you can put that materials list up if you don't mind.
Okay, one sec.
Fly in here.
Spotlight. I like that highfalutin.
Highfalutin, yep, that's the plan. If you do it right, he'll highfalutin. Get all my materials out on my desk here for this one.
And after Susan's done, I can put the two recipes up again if you want to take a screenshot or whatever of it if you need it. So,
Okay.
okay, I'll take this down. And you're on your way.
Okay, so this fly is a variation that I came up with for a stimmy, and I don't honestly remember if there was any wine involved, but the reason that I wanted to do this fly was we have a riverboat, and when you're on the river and you're trying to, my husband would be driving the boat and we would both be fishing, but he would have to be adjusting the boat. And sometimes if there's something coming up behind the boat, you got to just shift it around right now, or you're going to have a major problem. A dangerous situation could arise if there's a tree or something and you have to move the boat quickly. And so we'd be fishing these and then he'd just have to adjust the boat. We'd be fishing a regular stimmy and it would get dragged along in the water because he doesn't have time to reel up. He's just got to move the boat. And I'd watch that stimmy go underwater and then it wouldn't float and he's struggling to get it to float. And so I thought, there's got to be a way to make that stimmy float. So I came up with this idea of actually putting foam in the abdomen of a stimmy to make it float better. So this is the fly that I called the highfalutin stimmy. So it's tied pretty much like a regular stimulator, except the abdomen's a little bit different. So we'll start that fly. I have to tie with magnifiers, so let me get them on. So I'm just going to start this as you would any other fly. And I'm not going to be too worried at this point about my thread base because it isn't critical. And you guys don't want to watch me spend 20 minutes putting on a good thread base. So I'm going to take this back to just barely past the hook point. It probably isn't that critical. It depends on I suppose what hook you use. This is a hopper hook, a Dairiki hopper hook, and it has a pretty good curve on it. So I don't want to go way down here because then my tail is going to be sticking way down. So I don't want to go too far back on that. So now I'm just going to get me some deer hair. And yeah, and for bigger flies, you can use elk hair. For relatively small, you can use this deer hair. I think this is a size 8, I believe. So I'm just going to get a small amount of deer hair. It's a little easier to work with for this size fly. And I've got my little hank of deer hair that I'm about to stack here. And I'm going to take that out of the stacker. And I want this tail to be extend past the tie-in point about half the length of the shank, maybe a little bit longer than that. So I'm going to go ahead and tie that in. That looks pretty good. Go back forward and I'm going to take this forward to the tie-in point of my abdomen, which is about 2/3 up, and then cut all this out of here. So once I get my tail in, then there are going to be 3 materials that I need to put in. And the first is my wire. And again, this is an extra small wire, because all its purpose is to help protect my feather. And I'll do the same technique on this fly as I did on the other with the wire. Tie that in towards the bottom. And then I'm going to get a hackle that hopefully is sized about right. That looks pretty good. So the hackle is about the gape, maybe a little bit less. So again, I'm just going to prep this as I did the other one. And I could back that out a little bit, couldn't I? There we go. I'm just going to prep this again by trimming it. And this is another fly that, unlike a lot of flies, you have to be real careful with the base of your body, that it's really neat, and you want to start your hackle way up at the abdomen. But in this case, it's not as critical for this fly. So again, but I am going to tie it in so that there's a little bit of bare stem exposed, so that the feather will hopefully behave itself. Okay, so we have hackle and we have wire, and normally for a stimmy you would be you would be dubbing at this point, but instead of dubbing, what I'm going to do is, oops, I need to get a little bit forward. I'm going to use a little bit of polypropylene yarn. Now let me get my yarn out and I'll show you how I have separated that. This is about 1/4 of the piece of, it's just regular polypropylene yarn that I get on a, oops, is that upside down? No. That I get on on a card, but some people get it in a skein. And I think when you get it in a skein, I believe it's the same width or diameter. And what I do, and I do this on my table, but I'll try to show you. I have this little tool, which is it's an eyebrow brush and comb. And so you can get this in the cosmetic center at pharmacies, or maybe even the grocery store. And so you can actually comb this material out with this little comb. See there? And when I do this, I do it on my table. It's just easier. But you can comb it out, and so you can cut a piece off and comb it out, and then you can come in here with a bodkin and separate out as much as you want of the fibers and just cut it away from the rest. So that's how I've created my little section that's not a full section. So it's pretty easy to do with a little comb. So I've done that beforehand, and I have this little section ready here. So now I'm just going to make this a little bit neater at the end, and I'm going to come up here and tie it in about where my abdomen point would begin. And I'm going to bring it back to the tail. And I'm going to leave my thread right there. And now I'm going to get a piece of foam. It's a 2 millimeter thick foam. This is, we were talking earlier about River Road Creations Chernobyl or cutters, and this is a tapered Chernobyl out cutter. This is the medium one, and you could use, you could just cut a piece of foam by hand, or it doesn't matter if you don't have to have this tapered body. It's nice, but you could cut one by hand and then just make a little point at the end. It doesn't really matter. It's whatever's easiest for you. But I just find this is quick and easy to use, the Chernobyl ant cutter. So I'm going to put this foam on top of this fly so that the foam is just behind my thread so that I can catch it. But before I do that, I'm going to put a little bit of super glue right on the top there. Or I could actually tie it in and then put the super glue, but I'm going to put that super glue down and make sure that this foam is right on top of my fly. And then I'm going to go ahead and catch that foam. Go 3 or 4 wraps. And then I'm going to go ahead and bring my foam forward to the beginning of my thorax. And then I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit more super glue there. And then before I tie this foam down, I'm going to put some super glue there too, so that it doesn't move on me. And then I'm going to come in here and I'm not going to squish this. I'm just kind of pinching it to hold it in place, making sure that it stays on top of my fly. There we go. And catch it. But I don't want to squish it too much because then we defeat the purpose of having the foam on here. Then I'm going to go ahead and trim that away. Kind of taper that off. That was a little too long, but we can trim it away. And now I'm going to go ahead and make sure I catch this and squish it down. Wire out of the way. There we go. So now this is okay. So now, since we're not dubbing and we're adding some foam, we're going to take this polypropylene yarn and we're going to try to get it to separate out a little bit so that it's not like a rope. And I'm going to squeeze this foam a little bit as I go to just keep it from being too chubby. But you don't want to make this too, you don't want to squish it too much because otherwise you defeat the purpose of putting the foam on. Now towards this end, I need to squeeze a little bit more. And then I'm just going to catch my polypropylene. Now, so now we have our body formed. It's chubbier than a dubbed body would be. So there's no question when you do this, this fly is chubbier than it would be if you tied it with dubbing, but it floats better, which was my goal. So now I'm going to do a quick whip finish there to hold it in place. And now I'm going to do the same thing I did before. I've got my feather and I've got my wire, and I'm going to bring my wire underneath. Let me zoom in. I'm going to bring my wire underneath and around over the top of the feather as I hold my feather towards me and get it back underneath the feather. And now I should be able to, if everybody behaves themselves, get that to wrap, starting at my tail. Oh, the feather turned. Well, we'll go with it. But hopefully you can see that. And now with this fly, I am pulling fairly snugly so that the wire and the feather sink in a little bit to that foam and the polypropylene. And hopefully you can see that wire is right on top of that stem. It's right there. So it's going to protect it. And this fly being a stimmy, hopefully it'll get lots of abuse by fish. And they usually do. Now I'm just going to tie those off together. Make sure they're tied down good. And again, I'm going to just helicopter off my wire. And unfortunately, my feather turned, but I don't think that's going to make much difference. Get rid of my feather. I'm going to pop this back a little bit now. Make the rest of the tie easier. I'm going to get rid of these guys that got caught in the thread. Okay, now I'm just gonna smooth that up a little bit. And now I need to put a wing on here. And I'm gonna trim right where the wing's gonna go on the top of the fly so that those fibers don't get in the way. All right, now I'm just gonna get me some deer hair to make a wing. Just gonna do this off camera. Is there anybody who has a question about getting the deer hair off of the hide before I do it? And I'll show you how I do it. It's pretty standard, but if anyone has a question about it, I'll be happy to put it up to the camera.
Never hurts to
Okay.
see another way to do it.
Well, it's probably the way most people do it. So I take my deer hair. Wait a minute here. Whoops, wrong way. And I back up. There we are, backed up now. I just get in here with a bodkin and separate out what I want. Maybe that's not quite enough. I've seen people do it with the scissors. That works as well. And then I just hold it.
Yeah, it's hard to do not on the table.
Yeah, I just hold it, and because now I have control over how much I want because I measured it out, and then I can just come in with my scissors and cut it off. And then I'm going to clean it off camera, but well, I'll do it here real quick. I just take my fingers and pull all the underbody out and some of the shorter fibers, and I'll go ahead and put it in my stacker. And stack it. So I don't drop it. There we go. Let's see how it came out. It looks pretty good. I got one we'll leave behind. Okay. Oh, we got some broken ones we gotta get out of there. Oh, well, let's get another bunch. I should have used tweezers to get those broken ones out of there. I'm just gonna do this off camera. Get another bunch of hair. Go ahead and clean it out. Okay, let's see if this looks better. There we are. So now I'm just gonna get my wing on, and when I put the wing on, I like it to be about as long as the abdomen is. So I'm gonna measure it there so that it's just about at the abdomen, and come in here and hopefully get it to go around it once and then go ahead and attach it down to the fly. Make sure it stayed on top, which it did. Now I'm really putting some pressure on it. And then I do like to go through, bend some of the fibers back and go through it as I come forward with my thread just to secure it better. And I think it also helps taper this down, which is important for this fly because we still have to put another hackle on it. Now we got to get rid of the mess here. Okay, now I'm going to get in here and get these a little closer to the hook so we don't have too much bulk on this part of the fly. Now I'm just going to go in here and smash all those down with thread and maybe go up onto the wing just a little bit. There we go. So that I have room to actually put a nice thorax on this thing. Okay, so that looks like a pretty smooth ramp. A little bit more there. Get that fiber out of the way. Okay, now I need to tie in a hackle for the thorax. And I think this one, let's see, this one looks like it might be pretty good. Yeah, that's about, so this we want a little bit shorter, but, or maybe about the same length as the hackle for the abdomen. We don't want it any longer than that. So I'm just gonna prep this as I did the other one. And before I tie that in, I'm gonna get this thread a little bit further back. And again, same thing, I want to leave a little bit of that rachis exposed that I've trimmed. Take that back a little bit more. So I want some of that exposed stem or rachis to be not under the thread, so that when I wrap it, as I begin to wrap it, it will be easier to get it to behave itself and wrap the way it should. Now I'm going to go ahead and go back to the beginning of the thorax. Well, it could have better lighting on this, couldn't I? You have to work on that. I'm just going to put a little dubbing wax on here. Gretchen's wax. And then I have some Uni-Stretch, some super fine. You can use any dry fly dubbing. I personally keep all my dubbing in little boxes that I've drilled a hole in, and then I can easily pull it out. So that's just the way I've done things. It's a bit too much. And I'm gonna just do this thread here with some dubbing so that we can do my thorax here. So I'm just gonna go ahead and dub this thorax. Looks like I'm gonna need a little bit more. Okay, that looks pretty good. And now, since this is just a small, I'm not going to use my rotary for this, for the thorax, because I just have to go around it 2-3 times and we'll be done. So I'm just going to wrap this by hand. And we could do that a little closer. Let's redo that. There we go. And I do put quite a bit of tension so that hopefully that hackle sinks into the dubbing a bit and will be protected. Although this part of the fly is less likely to get bitten than the back end. Not as worried up here. So I don't put wire up here. Better. I'm gonna move ahead there and finish it, and we're done. And then a little super glue on the thread, and that's it.
Wow.
Nice. There is a question on
yeah.
the floor from John.
Mhm.
He loves your dubbing box. Do you
Oh.
use the same for hook, beads, and other small items? What do you use to label the boxes with?
Well, the answer to the beads is yes. I do the same thing for beads. And the label, what I do is I just cut the label off of the package. And then when I make my little boxes, I just, I drill them, right? So I've taken the material out of there. You can see this is the hole there. I just use a regular drill. It's a plastic box. And then I've actually taped the label on the inside of the box here so that it doesn't get knocked off. So it's actually protected by the box itself. I just use some Scotch tape. So that's what I do with the dubbing, and I also do that with beads as well. Same thing. I just take the label, cut part of the label away from the box, so I know exactly what size and whether it's tungsten or not. Which pretty much for me, it's always tungsten. But that's how I do it. It's just kind of a nice way to organize things. The other thing that I've done is I started with I started out not I wasn't going to tie very much. That was the plan. I was just going to tie the easy stuff. And I started out with one little chest of drawer. I'm going to turn my computer around here with hopefully without disturbing everything. So you can see I've got, well, you can see them in the back there. So I started out with one of those that has 5, right? And now, and some of the bigger ones, maybe one of the bigger ones. And now I have, I mean, that's my extra stuff over there. I think I have, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I have 44 of those smaller boxes in front of me, or 44 of the smaller drawers in front of me. So there are 5 in a little chest of drawers, and you can take them apart and make them whatever height you want. So that's how I organize everything. And I have all my little boxes within boxes, and I'm kind of obsessive about it all. But that's the answer to the question about the little boxes and the beads and the hooks, and that's how I store all my hooks and everything. So all my hooks are in containers that they originally came in, or if they're not this brand, then I've labeled the backs of the boxes with the brand that I'm using now, since I can't get Dairiki anymore. But I use these little boxes, and they connect together. You can take them apart.
Yep.
So if you just want one box out, you can take them apart and put it back together. So that's how I organized.
Those
That's
are
the question
really
to the
nice
beads.
boxes. Those are really
Yeah.
nice boxes. It's too bad we can't get them anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love those flies or those
You know,
hooks.
yeah, the hooks. Yeah, I still have quite a few of them, but obviously we've had to switch. But the little boxes you probably could find if you wanted to be obsessive compulsive like I am for organizing things. You might be able to find them on Amazon.
Oh
Possibly.
yeah.
Yeah, something. And I like them because they hook together. That's nice, and they fit just right. 4 of them fit lengthwise in my little drawers.
Nice.
Craig had a comment that I thought was very appropriate. He says, your flies are what I think are beautiful and imagine fish would find real. Thank you for sharing your techniques. I'll try it on my woolly buggers, which I was thinking about as well.
Yeah.
It's a good
All right.
idea.
Well, super. You're welcome, and thanks for the comment.
Yeah.
Hey,
And then
Susan, don't
John made a suggestion that a soldering iron makes a neater hole in the box.
Oh, probably does. Yeah, I
Yeah.
hadn't thought about that. And we have one out there in the garage.
Yeah, that would work good.
Good, yeah.
Any questions of Susan? Go ahead and fire up your microphones if you want and just ask her directly.
This is Bill. I had an idea and I'm going to try it out. I've done it before. Al's seen me use it to make a body of a fly, using, the bead backer. There's something called Mueller Pro Wrap that Al introduced us to a number of years ago. And it's a foam, but it's a real thin foam that you
Oh,
can then
cool.
wrap around it. And what I noticed when I was fly fishing with it, there are little air pockets in the foam. And so then that
Yeah.
foam give it different properties when it's in the water. I wonder, I'm gonna have to try your fly with that. It's called Mueller
Yeah.
Pre-Wrap.
Right. The only
Fish.
thing, it depends on how thick it is, but it's possible that if the gape of your hook is not very big, you'll have to be careful you stay well enough in front of the point so that your fly that you don't have foam hanging down in the body blocking the gape or making the gape smaller.
It's a couple thousandths.
Oh,
That
that should
thin, you can
work.
see
Yeah.
through it. Yeah, you
Yeah.
can bundle it up. I'm just thinking about your fly and not having to get what you were using to wrap
You
it
mean
down. Yeah.
you mean this fly or the other one?
No, this last
one.
fly
Yeah.
that's a
Yeah.
substitute for me.
Yeah. You could try it. I mean, one way to find out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I don't know if I
Sure.
want to share this one or not, but Richard Smith wrote, Fish USA sells Dairiki hooks now since about
Really?
August 2025.
Huh, well, that's, they must have got the contract or whatever you have to get to import them. So that's
Yeah,
good.
I
Yeah,
had
it's
to
good.
probably
Yeah.
had to go through Dan Bailey's estate and
Oh,
through
probably.
his brother, I mean his son.
Yeah,
But yeah, I'm definitely going to look that up. I'm
yeah.
looking for hooks big time right now for my club.
Oh,
Boy, lots and lots and lots and lots of thank yous and great job. And I'm going to try that. And thanks for sharing. And
good.
by the way, to date, you are our most popular tire.
Maybe that's because it just got started for the year. Could it be?
What's that?
Could it be because it just got started for the year?
No, no. Actually, you had well over 100 people in here at one
Oh
point
my
in time.
gosh. Wow, I am honored. Thank you. Thank
You
you
did
all for
well.
being here. Wow. Yeah. So this is just real quick, this is the I'm not drunk fly.
Oh, Peggy,
Developing
thank
time
you.
for Al and Gretchen.
Yeah, that's a cool looking fly.
Yeah, it's I thought this is something crazy. This isn't gonna catch fish, but by golly, it's done so in three different venues on warm water fish.
I haven't done any Mylar ones for a long time.
Yeah.
Huh?
So and there's a chenille underneath there.
Oh,
Green
cool.
and orange chenille
Yep.
underneath. And that's how it got that appearance. I wanted it to look
Yep.
like a sunfish. So
It does. Yeah, you had
kind of.
102 at 25 after the hour, Susan. That's
Wow,
the top
that's
number we've
fabulous.
had
Wow.
in probably, what do you think, the last 15 sessions we've had,
Yeah.
Rick?
Oh yeah,
I'm
definitely.
shocked. I'm
Yep.
Well,
shocked.
I'm the
Huh.
statistic keeper, so I have to
Oh,
report the stats
somebody,
back. So
thank you.
Yeah,
Wow.
you did
I'm
well.
I'm just I'm just amazed. And then
Peggy,
yeah.
Peggy, thank you very much for the tip on that. Peggy wrote that Angler Sports Group, I can't ever say them. Daiichi
Yeah, Daiichi.
hooks,
Thank you.
Daiichi, yeah, or whatever. Hooks will supply clubs for teaching purposes.
Oh wow.
Oh,
Great.
So
they did that
that's a
years,
good
yeah.
thing to know. I
It
need to
is,
find
yeah.
out more about the group.
Mm.
So thank you, Peggy. Let's see if there's anything else here. Any other comments or?
I thought her name was Susan.
Oh no, that was Peggy Brenner that gave the information about where you could get
Oh,
those
okay.
those
Yeah.
hooks. Yeah.
Okay, Michael Peretti would like you, if you're able to show the connector to your camera.
Oh, okay. Well, here it is. It is a USB and it has hang on, and I have another one that I can
Oh,
pull
that
up.
comes with the camera?
Pardon?
That comes with the camera?
No, it did not. I
Okay.
got it, but I have another one that's not being used that I can show you. Let me grab it though.
Okay.
and if
Yeah,
I
that 90
remember
degree
right,
thing would be a great idea.
and if I
Yeah, it
remember
is.
right, her
They
hand
make
was
them for
weak.
both the USB and HDMI cables. So if you want to run it as an HDMI, the downside of HDMI is you also need to add a power source to it. So, but
Oh
the
yeah.
Oh
is
yeah.
you
Yeah.
can put it into a switcher like Al does, and I found that with USB I can only run 3 cameras effectively. Otherwise, the fourth one just doesn't get picked up. So, yeah, with the HDMI I can run 5 and 6 cameras.
Yeah.
So this is, and if you want to email me, I can, or email me, I can send you a picture of the label that was on here. But what it is it's a 90-degree USB 3.1 adapter. I don't know what 3.1 means because I'm not techie at all. And there
Old.
were four. Al
Old.
would know. There were four of them in here because they go two different directions, right? So there were 4 and 2 went one direction and 2 went the other direction.
Okay, say it one more time.
What it
Say
is?
say the yeah.
It is the brand is DU capital HE capital SIN 90-degree USB 1.3 adapter.
Okay.
And
And just hold it up in front of your camera. And let them take a
so,
picture.
yeah, so that's what it's got a little cover on it. So that's what it looks like.
Yeah.
So it just comes out of your camera and goes 90. Now the end, there
Yeah.
were 4 of them. And on 2 of them, the end was just like this. And on 2 of them, the end was the other way so that it plugs in. So here's where it plugs in there, that, you know, the female part goes in there. And then it has the blue part. So 2 of them are opposite of this one. So 2 of them would go this way and 2 of them would go that way when you put them into your camera.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
3.1 just means it's a USB version 3.
oh,
Yeah.
okay. And then
Yeah.
it's 10, I guess, gigabytes.
Yeah, it's the speed
Yeah.
it can push data through.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
yeah.
that was important because otherwise I think it'll slow down your
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, big
data.
time.
Your-
Yeah,
Mhm.
USB is the
Yeah,
way to
big
go.
might
time.
affect the quality of what comes through your camera.
Yep.
So that's what I've used, and it's made it a lot easier to tie around the camera because otherwise, you know, you got the cord sticking out here and you bump the camera and all that business. So
Okay.
this has been very helpful.
Anything else for Susan?
Yeah.
After- Go ahead.
Susan, show me that box again with that name of the camera.
Oh, okay. Let me grab it here.
Makos C100.
Yeah, it's the Makos C100. Oh, yeah, there we go. Makos. And then it is the C100.
Okay, I
Yeah,
got
and
that. That'll work.
it says 10 to 50 on it. And it would be nicer if it didn't I didn't have to be so far from, because my hands are way out here. Otherwise, I can't. The field of view is too small for you to see me tie if I don't get it out there, except when I'm, you know, like when I'm zoomed in, you wouldn't be able to see me tie when I'm zoomed in.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, I think it's just a really good little camera. It's worked well. It wasn't terribly expensive. Al recommended it, so he must be right.
Yeah, I've been using them for about 3 years now, and I've got 2 of them, and I love them both. So
Yeah,
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 I got one on the way right now.
yeah. I think you'll be happy with it. Yeah,
The,
and then the
Camera. That
hardest
part,
part
yes.
for me doing these presentations was figuring out how to secure my camera to my tying desk without it having some big bulky thing. And I went through a few different things, and this is actually a GoPro helmet or bike
Oh, yeah.
mount that I ended up breaking down, and I mounted it on a mount for a vise.
Yeah.
Susan,
Uh-huh.
look what I've got. I bought this vise, this C-clamp,
Uh-huh.
and it's got threaded holes for a quarter 20, like what goes on your tripod.
Yeah.
And then I got a quarter 20 bolt on it, and then I ordered a replacement head.
Yeah.
You don't get any length bolt on it, and then it just clamps on the edge of your desk and it's fixed.
Yeah, that's it. This is basically, it's similar, except this is a vise base. Well, not the, it's a vise clamp, right? To put a vise in. And
Yeah, this is a C clamp, and then it's
yeah,
got holes in it and so forth.
yeah. So and that's going to be real sturdy, because the things I had before, I would bump the camera and then we'd be all out of focus.
Yeah,
Right?
well, see, this clamps onto my desk, and
Yeah.
this is what Al recommended to me, and that's what I went and got. It clamps to the desk right here, and then you've got this articulating arm that'll move all over the place.
Wait a
Can
minute.
you-
Let me
And that's
Can
what
we
hold
spotlight
on a
that,
minute.
Can you,
please?
hey, Rick, can you give him focus? Just a sec, John.
Yeah, where you at, John?
in
Fuck.
Omaha.
Yes.
Talk to me.
Duh.
There
he
you
is.
are. I won't say what I was going to say.
There he is. Yeah.
There it is right there. You see it? It's an articulated arm. I got this from Amazon. And
Yeah.
I've got two of them, and I absolutely love them. I can hook
Yeah.
them on to my desk, and that lets me extend that camera out quite a ways. You can see it's pretty good arm.
How
Yeah.
is it
Also,
hard to
to hook
tie
one on
around?
top of the other to reach a long distance.
I'm sorry, Susan, say again?
Is it hard to tie around?
No, actually it
Oh,
isn't because it's really
okay.
skinny. See, it's only
Yeah, yeah. And so it sits right in front of you?
Huh?
Yeah.
Too many
So
people
what is
talking.
that called?
Got two people talking at once. Sorry.
Hey, Al, go first, please.
You can take two of those that John is holding up and move it in from the side, and you just hook one on top of the other.
Mm.
Al, you'll have to talk to me about that one. I
Daisy
like
chain
that
them
idea.
together. The place where you hook the camera, you hook the a second arm in on that, so it'll reach out twice as far.
Oh,
Oh,
I see
okay.
what you're saying. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. All right, guys.
That way,
I want to go ahead and start wrapping this up. If Susan is about ready to wrap up her portion, then we can get out of here tonight. I'll put you
Yeah.
back up as spotlight. There you go,
The
Susan.
materials list. Remember, people wanted to see you were going to
yeah.
represent the materials, please.
Okay. So, last chance. Any more questions or comments for Susan?
No,
Okay.
thank you, Susan.
More than
Thank
welcome.
you.
You did a fantastic job.
Well, thank you.
I know you were nervous.
Yeah. I was especially nervous in the beginning when the camera suddenly went away, but we got it back. So,
Yeah, you did really well. It was very,
yeah,
very
thank you.
educational, and I think everybody got a lot out of it. So
I hope so. That's the point.
you're on
Yeah.
my list for future.
Uh-oh.
Don't run and hide. I know how to find you.
You do now. That's
So-
Patty's fault.
Anyway, and good old Patty, you know how she
That's
is.
right. She'll stick them on you.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, with that, I'm gonna go ahead and take you off the spotlight, finish this up, and we'll call it an evening. I'll go have some supper.
Good. All right. Thanks everybody for being here.
You bet. Thank you so much.
Thanks, all.
Great presentation, Susan. Thank
Yep,
you.
super.
Thank you.
Thank you, Susan.
Okay.
You gonna post the recipe back up real quick, Rick?
Yeah, that's what I was just working on. I'll put the recipes up again real quick here. Come on. There's the Uni-Stretch Crackleback. So if you can do a screen print or you want to take your phone camera and take a picture of it, that'll work. I'll leave it up for about 20, 30 seconds here.
And Rick, just a quick what before I leave. I'll be doing a demo of what you and I talked about, what you asked me to do in December
Okay.
on our own meeting this Thursday night. So if you want to get a preview of it, please.
You want to, you're going to do it on the Thursday night thing?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll be on.
I dry run so I can practice.
Oh, I guess I won't be on. I've got a meeting that night. Darn it. But you post them later, so.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I'll post it
Sounds-
on our Zoom channel or our YouTube channel.
Yeah, sounds good. Okay. All right. I'm going to go ahead and grab the other one up here. I love that name. And hopefully everybody should have it now. So let's go on to my recruiting poster. If you don't belong to FFI, we'd love to have you. If you don't belong to the fly tying group, we would definitely love to have you. So go to flyfishersinternational.org and you can sign up there. You can sign up at the same time for both if you'd like. We're doing good stuff, especially in the fly tying group, but the whole organization is as well. So I think you would enjoy being a member, and it's very inexpensive, and it's well worth it. And then about every 2 weeks after the program is over. I've got one ready to go up right now, but these go up on the Fly Fishers International's YouTube program or YouTube channel, and there's the address there. And look under the when you get to the YouTube channel, go to the playlists, and you will see the one for the fly tying techniques there. And we have the last 2 sessions or seasons in there, and I've already got one on there from this year for Ryan Smith, our first guy. So give me about a week and a half, 2 weeks to get them up. I'm not nearly as fast as Al is, but I'm working on it, and it seems to be working out pretty well. And then finally, who's up next? Well, if you all remember Chris Johnson from Living Streams fly tying shop in Texas, I can't remember that little community he lives in. He will be here, and he talked to us about Hackle and whiting Hackle mostly the last time he was here, and this year he wants to talk about CDC and show us a bunch of techniques that he has when he does CDC. So, and CDC is always a good thing to explore. Makes amazing flies. So that will be the 18th of November, and I think you'll get a lot out of it and really enjoy it. So let's see. Got anything else here? I don't see anything. Any questions for me before I wrap it up? Okay, if not, I really appreciate your time tonight. I appreciate your time every time we get together because your time's precious. And I think our instructors are doing a really fine job of sharing information and teaching some really good techniques. So with that, I will bid you all a good evening and thank you again, Susan. It was awesome.
Happy to do
Very
it.
awesome. And thank you for all the good discussion we've had.
Yeah.
So, all right. With that, we'll call it a quit. I'll shut the recording down and we'll go do whatever we need to do. And good night, everybody.
Good night.